We can begin the game.
We can.
Look. It's Pokemon Colosseum. Those two are not in the game.
Well, technically, you have to do like the battle mode. You got to do the battle mode, and then you connect the GBA to it.
Right, Dan. Now I'm gonna do this with each playthrough that I actually get with people because our channel doesn't have this at all. Nobody knows who we are, so introduce yourself. Say hi. Hello.
My name's Daniel. I'm I don't know. I probably out of the station, I'm the most knowledgeable when it comes to Nintendo games.
The smartest one.
I got the biggest brain. I got the best body.
He has the longest hair.
I do. I have the longest, and so
by proxy, you do. Where are you?
Oh yeah, we can check our funny little Pokemans.
I won't be able to rename them until episode.
Oh yeah, because you have to watch every single animation.
And this game is still better than any Pokemon game that's come out in the last 10 years. I think that is true. What came out in 2014?
I think 2013 was the release of Pokemon X and Y.
Yep, so my statement stands.
No. X and Y.
Don't whack your finger at me.
X and Y has Mega Evolution.
Oh yeah. Well, but that doesn't.
I mean, I agree. I don't think it equates to it being the best Pokemon game, but it's the best thing going for it.
No, it's definitely the best mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's gonna blow up on me.
You're living in a train.
Okay.
Honestly, I wouldn't want to leave that place.
You see that? He swiveled around in the seat. You.
You're telling me if you're on one of those little seats in the bar, you're not gonna like spin around?
I don't want to keep talking to him. I'll tell you that much. I haven't seen your face around here. Get out. What are the settings on this game?
Settings? Oh, that's the X button.
Okay, because I was like, I want to change the text. You say no. Joshing, right? No, I'm Timmy. Oh, fine. Let me kill your Zagazugazine. Was there ever like a Pokemon you ever mispronounced until like this year?
Not this year, but the Gen 5 legendary Pokemon Virizion, the green one.
Did you call it Verizon?
Yep.
I did too. I think I still called it Verizon until you just corrected me just now.
When I was really, really young, I got a Pokemon card for Meowth, and I didn't know the word Fury. So every single time I told it to use a move, I told it to use Furry Attack.
Did you ever call it Zigzagoon?
No, I've always called it Zigzagoon.
That is what I said.
Alright, let's see.
Did you ever call it the correct thing?
I mean, like, there's a bunch of, like, Gen 9 Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet that I don't even want to begin to try to pronounce their names. I think you looked at some of them, too.
I did. We went through... I'm pretty sure I was with you when we did that, when we looked at all the new Pokemon. The worm... You should look them up now.
Earthworm.
The Orthworm.
Cyclizar.
Literally Flamingo.
There's the 3 mythical Pokemon that released in like the first DLC. That's like they're all like the monkey trio Pokemon, and well, they're not all monkeys. Only like 2 of them are. No, one of them's a monkey, one of them's a dog, and then one of them's like a bird.
Still using monkeys in 2025. Come on, dude.
But
I think it picked me up saying that I was talking too quietly. So good.
But those 3 have just names that I don't even want to begin to try to pronounce, especially the bird.
Give me this. Also, I wouldn't call myself a Pokemon fan, because I don't know, I enjoy it up to a certain point.
I
don't know, because that's the thing. People be like, "Oh, you're X fan, but it's like, what does that mean now? Like, you're an active part of the community, or you just like playing the game?
I mean, I'd like to say I'm part of the community, but the thing is like, especially with Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, the biggest thing that kept me going back to Pokemon games was replayability. You know, and I know like this isn't the perfect game to have that example.
This is a terrible.
This is a terrible one for customization. But like the
speaking
idea,
of which, I gotta get to the settings as soon as we get done with this fight.
But you know, as I always replay the Pokemon games just to be like, oh, I want, you know, to use a different team. I want to try something out a little bit differently. But like Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield and even like Sun and Moon in those games, like it's just difficult to find a reason to replay them.
That's why it's like the only thing I could say that like I hate the whole you have to be part of a community, but like the only thing I'd say about is probably Sonic because I'm actively invested in what's going on. Like that's it. But it's like Pokemon is just like, hey, this game's coming out. Okay.
Now I'm excited for like the next EA, like
yeah,
Legends because they're bringing back Mega Evolution.
It's good when we play together. Good when we play together because the games that people aren't going to be clicking on is so once we have actual conversations. Speaking of which, we're living in a current time of heroism. So how are you faring in the I asked Jerry the same thing. How are you faring in the time of the TikTok ban?
Oh, the TikTok ban that lasted like not even a day. I think it only lasted 12 hours, and then they're like, "Oh, thank you, Donald Trump."
Donald Trump. You know Donald Trump, video of the guy in the car.
Donald Trump, please save me. Like he's praying to him.
Please save me. And he's in the car with his hands up. Everybody just got mad. Okay, is it the PDA, the public displays of affection? No. How do I find this? Where are the, like, settings? Should have just settings.
Oh, you went through all the settings when you went through the options. There's no text speed in this. You're going through every animation.
Oh, the sack's mouth is firmly closed with a totted knighted. No. We're gonna play Pokemon Channel?
No.
Can we play it one time?
What are we gonna play with?
Can we install a mod where you can beat Pikachu? Is there mods for Pokemon Channel?
I don't think that.
Ugh.
But no, a Pokemon game we can play.
Go to the mayor's house. What?
We beat this one, then we played XD because you've never played XD.
I haven't played that. Would actually be new.
And that one.
And you've played XD.
I've not.
Oh.
I know what happens in it, but I have not.
Okay. You became my partner for life.
I told myself I want to beat the ROM hack for this game first, and then move to XD, and then move to the ROM hack for XD, because we're gonna find out very quickly that there are not a lot of good Pokemon to choose in this game.
But no, do you think Trump's been forgiven?
Oh yeah, no, he has.
He restored TikTok. He must be a hero.
The LGBTQ community has forgiven Donald Trump for giving back TikTok.
The LG TikTok community.
Well, no, he made it very clear on his inauguration, and he's like, there are two genders, male and epic.
Is that real?
Yeah, no, well, yes, he said epic.
I believe you.
It's really epic.
There's two genders, male and epic.
There's two genders. There's boner and boing.
Gamer and swag.
But there's a person in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon to where like you challenge him once, and then you never see him again. And he has such a cool design, but they don't want to do anything with it. Would you
say newer Pokemon designs are overdone or not done?
No, I'm saying like.
No, I'm just saying like, would you say they're overdone or not done enough with?
I think Pokemon has leaned on the cutesy side since.
I think that's just Japan.
Since Gen 6.
Ever seen the box art for Crash
I think that
Bandicoot?
bleeds into the characters to where they're less because that's another thing that a lot of people are kind of pissed off with the Pokemon community is that like Pokemon used to be like ferocious, like I'm a
Don't say that.
like, you know, like like
well, no,
monsters.
it used to be a science thing. Like it wasn't. It was less about like, oh, magical friendship. It was like,
Well,
it was
see,
like actually you're. That I think we talked about this. It was that Pokemon was like, oh, I just kind of fight. It used to be like, oh, you're actually just like, hey, these are really unknown creatures, and you're like you're more like you play more like a biologist, you know, type of role
eh,
where you're discovering like scientific things because
right.
they're all these unknown creatures, and like now like Pokemon's well known, so it's like, oh, it's like about a magic, it's about a journey of friendship and bonding.
Well, no, because I think they implemented that well into like the anime. Like the very beginning of the anime, it definitely wasn't more of a scientific thing. It was a lot
Well,
more of
yeah,
like
no, the anime
I
wasn't. I'm talking
the
about the game strictly.
the pivot I'm going to is like same thing kind of happened with Fire Emblem. Where like, oh, they realize that they're getting a lot of attention in Japan. Let's change the art style to where it actually, where it's a little bit more cutesy. And of course, like there's still some stragglers out there. I think Duraludon's evolution looks pretty sick. I think
I never played Fire Emblem.
it
I know nothing about it.
I've played Fire Emblem 7. It's whichever one has Lyn and Hector and Elowood in it. They're fun.
All I know about it is that I saw the characters in Brawl and I said, who are they and why do they look boring?
Whenever
Where's Mario? Where's Sonic? He's at the end of the game.
funny story at the when Shadow Dragon came out for the DS, that's the one that Martha's in.
It's a really funny story. Next one.
I tried to convince my dad to buy me the DS game, and I told him, Dad, it's educational. It's like it's just an extrovert. It's like chess with more steps to it.
And he saw a woman on the cover and he did that thing with your mouth where you go.
No, but I eventually got to play it. My friend Thomas loaned it to me, and he was the guy who recommended me to it. And then Alan, he's the one who recommended me to play the GA version. But they're fine. I don't have a problem with them.
They're okay. I approved. Ooh. Get out of my way. Hello.
So have you already talked to the people at the desk?
I talked to the mayor.
So you have to talk to the people in the
Oh.
No. You have to talk to the people in the Colosseum.
Oh, okay.
That's another thing about this game.
It doesn't really tell you where to go.
It doesn't really tell you where to go.
I remember I remember the gear. I remember that took me forever when it was like, hey, the gear's missing. By the way, you have to go out of town to the first location.
You have to talk to these specific people
Yeah.
to start up a cutscene. And then from that cutscene, then you can go and it'll activate something else, and then you have to leave and go do something.
I'm not
sure
doing that on purpose.
I'm sure, like, if you're truly reading in between the lines and genuinely trying to talk to everybody, like, you shouldn't get too lost. But if you are just trying to get through the game,
I wish those actually. I will tell you one thing. This has been a problem since the beginning. Well, kind of, is that they used to give you yes or no options, but they don't matter ever. I think only in the first game they matter.
no, there's one in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. You get to like the third island, and you walk into this garden, and your rival Hal, I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I do. He's got black hair.
You remember Hop from Sword and Shield, right?
I do.
Exact same character.
Okay.
Except he doesn't get beaten to a pulp as a rival.
He's a little beta cuck.
Well, no, he's genuinely just a guy to be like, I don't care, surfs up, like, I'm just here to have fun.
Oh, okay.
But he runs up to you and he's like, hey player, guess what? Or no. It was like, do you know? And it was a yes or no option, and if you say no, he looks at you and he's like, I haven't told you anything yet. So, I mean, sometimes...
Wait, if you say no?
Yeah.
He says that? What?
Well,
that would make more sense if you said yes.
I think the line goes a little differently, but it's to the point where it's like, if you just say no, he's like, okay, I'm catching on to your bullshit.
Okay.
Like, sometimes the writers are creative with
I think
that.
there's one of them. I forget what... I think it's in the first game. But there's one that's like... It'll ask you, like... something obvious, like, oh, do you want the... I don't think this is the line, obviously. I'm just using an example. It's like, oh, do you want the Master Ball? And you could be like, no. And be like, yes, you do.
When do you feel you should get the Master Ball in a Pokemon?
When you've completed the main stuff. Because, it's literally just intended for like, hey, you know, there's like after game content, so why not? Also, I don't think we ever actually introduced ourselves.
We did. I did.
Okay. Well, I don't need to. I'm on everything. So I do all.
I told them that I'm a big Nintendo fan.
I'm trying to. I think I want to do something where I actually try to put some of the stuff together for an actual like, not channel trailer, but like something where it's like, hey, here are the actual identifiable people.
Well, I mean,
be like, oh, there's just random individuals sometimes.
Well, I mean, early on in the station life, I wanted to try to get a website up that had our bios, but
I mean, I'll just put some together.
That is...
Okay, I was definitely talking to him.
You were not talking to that Meryl.
Yeah. But we should do shopping for some Pokeballs. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, you have to talk to them, and they say, "Oh, we don't have any Pokeballs. We never sell these. Why would we sell Pokeballs in a Pokemon game?
You should go beat your child." Okay. Could you do that? Could you screw yourself up in a game where you just buy it, like you waste all your money on something and then?
No, because at the start of every Pokemon game, they give you Pokeballs.
Oh,
and technically, since you can technically play the whole game without catching a Shadow Pokemon.
Yeah. Do we want to do that? Is there a video for that? Going through all of Colosseum with only the starters.
Gosh, that would be more. I mean, that would be a challenge run. Because technically, we would get 3 Pokemon: Espeon, Umbreon, Plusle.
Oh right. He gives it to you. Anyways, I wanted to put something together like channel type thing where everybody has like a. Hey, this is actually who the people are. Because there's a core 8. I just made a community post about it. But, for example, our setup, everything that you see before you that the light touches, Dan did.
Oh, I didn't do the rug or anything like
that.
Well,
no, because I have the feminine gay touch. But you have, you're a little computer boy with your little technical wiring. So.
Well, I mean, I graduated from a university with like an IT degree, so I mean, this is just stuff that I want to.
Right, we did enough sucking you off. You don't got to be like, I'm also a college student.
I didn't want to mention that. I just wanted to be like,
oh yeah, that's fine.
You were the one who pushed the IT. Yes, you did.
Oh well, yeah, I did. You're right. Also, we're gonna buy. Here's how we're gonna do this. Ready?
Honest.
We're gonna buy 1. No, we're gonna buy 2 in case I ever mess up. Buy 2. And 2, and these are the rest of the Pokeballs for the rest of the game.
Until we get Ultra Balls, and then...
This is not a... I will put this up. Warning. Big warning. This is not a channel where we play games well. We just play games for fun and shooting the SHIT, as it were.
Well, no, I'm gonna get pissed at Ben if he doesn't do the right Pokemon.
Yeah, there's some like 8-year-old red in the face right now. That's like you didn't know exactly where to go. Something terrible's happening. A whole bunch of people are pillaging and raping all of the people who live here.
I mean, just more of a bio for me. I mean, I'm a really big Nintendo fan. I grew up on Nintendo. I'm trying to branch out more into stuff like Sega and, PlayStation. I still haven't...
I'm going to put a muffler over all this. Everyone's like, oh, yeah.
I still haven't found myself a reason to play any Xbox games, but I mean, like...
Nobody plays Xbox. Speaking of which, I am going to post the Halo I'm going to post the Halo footage of me and my sister trying to get Halo to work. It's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
I'm glad that company went under. Because, like, it is just... It's like... I don't... What's it... like if they made a Pokemon game and you can't catch things. Like... It's ridiculous. Getting that game to function was such a mess.
The classic edition that we got on
No,
Steam?
Halo.
Yeah.
The Master Chief Collection.
On Steam?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you have to download a mod to make split screen work. And then you also have to download the individual games when you actually load it up. It was like, why?
Oh, no, Kingdom Hearts kind of does that too. The huge, like, ultimate mix that they have. They have it to where, like...
slide, though, because Kingdom Hearts, everything that's there is there. Like, you don't need to... I don't need to go and out of my way to mod it to get a core function of the game back.
There's some mods for it, but that's mostly music.
Yeah, or like model replacements, fun stuff like that.
Same thing that they do for like Sonic Adventure.
Somebody made a Black Kingdom Hearts mod, or maybe I'm just making that up because I saw someone dub a cutscene. But it was Goofy sitting up and he goes, "Yo, Donald, you great." Like, this is funny.
Free damage.
I'm really hoping games are fun. We recently did something cool. Do you remember what it was?
Last thing I remember us doing was
Was it what?
that was the Halloween stuff.
Halloween stuff?
Yeah, the stuff that we did.
What did we do?
Recording of the.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're talking about recording, yeah.
Yeah,
That's not going to come out for another year if I use
Are you
it.
talking about like the Steam Family Library?
No, I just meant in general. I was just being very vague. I was hoping you'd fill in for something. You remember the time?
I'm at a loss here. What?
I don't know. The whole point was for you to fill in for something. I guess I'll go. I guess it's my turn. I do everything you see. Like, that's literally it. If there's a thumbnail, the editing, everything, it's me. Every time there was an editing joke that you did laugh at and made you mad, it's my fault.
Yep, complain to him.
But every time you saw something that made you pull your thumb out of your mouth and point at your screen and soy jack laughing, that was also my fault. All right, here's the first black Pokemon. I would say, as much as I will, like, another reason though I do like this game, despite the limited amount, everybody has like unique animations and everything. So, like, it does help the individuality of the Pokemon.
Right. Well, I mean, they had custom animations. They're reusing the stuff from Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2 for the Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon and adding new ones for Gen 3. I wish that they continued to do this. I'm one of the people who just I'm not the biggest fan of how a lot of the 3D animations are with modern Pokemon. I think that a lot of them take a lot of character out.
Noted. Yes, sir.
Did
I ever tell you about that? You know, like, people be like, "Oh, if you hold the B button down, it'll actually help you catch Pokemon." I think I've told you about this. I've done, like, when I was a child, I don't know what caused it, but I would do like this thing. I'd be like, "Please, Donald Trump, let me catch this Pokemon." And I do like the Tri-Beam, and it's never failed me once in my life. I can't think of in my entire 20 so odd years of living, I can't think of a single instance that I've never done this trying to catch a Pokemon, and it never worked. I remember I caught a full in this game. I remember this was like when I was first like being conscious of it, like, hey, this is a thing that happens. I remember, you know how you catch Entei, I think, on the Battle Mountain?
Yeah.
I threw a Pokeball frame 1 and tried it. I caught him. Full health. It's like,
no, my
also,
technique...
this is important. Which one? Because I know I have one I want to pick, but I want to know what you...
So, sorry, Bayleaf lovers, but not the... You know what? Sure, let's do... I think everyone in Colosseum either chooses Quilava or Croconaw for good reason. You know, I think Quilava is the best one to go for speed runs, but the thing with Bayleaf and Meganium is that if you're just trying to do a main game of Pokemon, just a typical playthrough, you're usually never going to use walls. Like, you're usually never going to use, like, Meganium as, like, oh, I need something to survive a couple of hits while I go do something else. I feel like that's a lot more prevalent in competitive Pokemon, but in just main game, I don't know. Why, were you wanting to choose Bayleaf?
I've always picked Bayleaf. I've never picked anything else.
Well, I have never chosen Bayleaf.
I'm titling
before, so
this the Colosseum situation is crazy. It's just 2 minutes because I was like, oh, I want Bayleaf, and then just for 4 minutes straight of Bayleaf fucking sucks. Bayleaf is the worst.
Bayleaf or Chikorita is technically like the worst out of the starters.
No, Chikorita is like the worst thing in the world because you want to like, especially in the anime, like even Ash is like picking the leaf off of her head and making her scream. Like she sucks.
But my technique for catching Pokemon.
God, she's got a little collar too. She's such a little harlot.
When I was on the bus trying to catch all the Gen 3 legendary or Gen 5 like legendary trio,
You're trying to catch a bug.
I would hold the select button, and if that wouldn't work, I would flip my DS over and I would just look away, be like, I don't care. You know what?
I've done that before. I have done that before.
You know, you can go and get captured if you want. You know, I'm not gonna stop you, but I don't want you. And then the funniest thing is that whenever Pokemon are failed to catch in those games, you see like a flash of white. So like even though I have like my DS flipped over, I could still see that flash of white, and I'm like,
and then you punch like the nearest person, you get. What do you say are some of the better Pokemon design? Not to derail your superstitions.
Oh no, I was done with mine.
Oh, okay. But the better Pokemon designs, like actually good Pokemon, because that's another thing too with Pokemon. People would be like, "Ah, they've run out of ideas." They did that since Gen 1.
They have like if you're worried about the ideas of like, oh, they'll just use ice cream. Yeah, they used sludge in Gen 1. They used magnets
Gen
in Gen
1 even was bad.
They just used a Pokeball in Gen 1.
Geodude exists. Geodude
like
sucks.
Like don't get me wrong, like maybe some of the designs aren't all that good, but you can't just say, oh, they're not being original anymore because
I think the key ring is legitimately cooler than like a quarter of like all of Gen 1's Pokemon.
I mean, everyone was in defense of being like, oh, why do you like the ice cream Pokemon from Gen 5? I like Vanillux. I like Clang.
I like eating ice cream.
I like Chandelure. Like I
think Chandelure is objectively like one of like people's favorites.
It has some pretty.
I think people really loved that one.
Oh, I love Chandelure.
Usually that's
Chandelure
people's favorite from Gen.
Favorite in Gen 5 is probably like Hydreigon.
Not the three-headed Dragion.
That is the Pokemon, unless.
Sorry, I forgot we named the girl Diddy. Like, if you're clicking on this, you probably know what it's about. If not, this is about you play as a renegade, you steal other people's Pokemon, but specifically so you're not fully a bad guy, because gosh forbid we can't have that. You steal bad, evil Pokemon that are infected with with COVID-19. And you can tell because they have dark shadow auras.
Right.
Speaking of which, I should actually switch them around.
Yeah, let's see. Well, give it. Let me see a summary of them real quick.
Okay. Okay, you actually know games.
Gen 5, unless Baxcalibur, which is the new Gen 9 Ice Dragon type, exceeds the level, Hydreigon is the only pseudo legendary that evolves past level 6. I think it evolves at level 6. And that is the latest a Pokemon can evolve. I mean, Gen 5 had that problem a lot too, to where a lot of the Pokemon that you wanted to use, for some reason, they just evolved at really late levels. Like, Clang evolved into Kling at level 49. Like, Braviary and Mandibuzz, like, they both were, like, late-stage evolutions. Hydreigon. It was weird. Same thing with Tynamo.
Mr. Johnson, give a man a break here. I'm telling you, so don't do nothing. I don't think I already talked. I don't think this is a conversation we already had on here, at least, but, I've been talking about recently, like, I think this era of games had 0 misses. I think I might have brought this up in Resident Evil 4, which I don't know if we're going to use that footage. But I think I brought this up in Resident Evil 4 because, like, there's 3 points of gaming, right? Yeah. There's when making games started, 80s, early 90s, people like figuring it out. And we've got now where everybody knows what to do. You can throw a game together like in 5 seconds, whatever. Not that it's easy, but like it's a lot. You have so many more tools and availability, and people have the knowledge. I feel like there was this period in like late 90s to very early 2000s where it's like people figured out how to make games, but they were like, okay, but how can we push stuff? They were just they were walking so the stuff we have now can run.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of that. So people put like, it felt like every game that came out during that era, specifically GameCube, Dreamcast, and PS2 stuff, had like tons of effort put into it that like a lot of stuff afterwards just doesn't.
I mean,
I don't really include PS2 because like some of that stuff included, FIFA.
well, when I think PS2 in the very beginning, I think Parappa the Rapper too. Like 2001.
Was Jack and Daxter? A lot of those like forgotten Sony IPs, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank.
I mean, I remember like emulation for Parappa 2 was extremely difficult at the very beginning, just because the game was so specific with its sound system. I think that era of games took a lot of strides to be really experimental. Because you want to talk about like GameCube, you got to think about like the link cable. You got to think about the compatibility that you have with like Force Swords. Amazing.
Actually, fun stuff.
Yeah, like stuff that nowadays you would just be like, oh, why don't you just do that over Wi-Fi over a connection instead of like having to hardwire
pay a
cables.
subscription for it while you're at it.
I'm never gonna be happy with Nintendo doing paid subscription.
Nintendo...
They were supposed to be like the last haven for fans.
I love how they get like so infuriatingly like red in the face whenever like the Nintendo Switch 2 being leaked. Like they just, I'm sure apparently they're having like an aneurysm over there over it, but it's like, yeah. So the Elon Musk of games.
Well,
have you seen that, by the way?
I've heard stuff about Switch 2. I've also heard about stuff about Nintendo putting into a lawsuit saying that technically emulation is legal.
Wait, Nintendo saying?
Yes.
What?
They're saying that emulation is legal, but there's like certain acts in it as well that makes it illegal. Like illegally acquiring the hardware or something alongside that. I can probably look it up, but the whole idea is they're trying to come up with a reasoning to be like, this is why we're taking down all this stuff. This is why, people can emulate games, but like we cannot take down emulators, but we can take down ROMs. Which is stupid.
It's still. I think anybody who like at this point actually still defends piracy that's like a point and laugh moment, because it's like, okay, so because the big thing is like people will be like, oh, this and that, because I forgot you have to call these guys. A big thing about it is like, oh well, you should buy the game, but it's like you don't have access to buy the game.
It's like
there's nowhere that, like, some games are still. I think a big one's like the DS. There are so many games still trapped on the DS.
Oh yeah. Same with 3DS too.
Yeah.
You got stuff like Tomodachi Life, Kid Icarus Uprising. You have a bunch of different RPGs that are also on the DS. Like,
it's super hard to find games on like obscure consoles.
Yeah, because you know how much Pokemon games are, right? If you want to try to buy like
$180.
I got like, it's impossible to find Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 now.
I never should have sold. Yeah, that's the thing about being a stupid child. You go, I will sell my DS. Oh, they gave me $20 for it. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, Bayleaf. I thought you were saying Bailey, and I'm like,
I'm gonna kill my dog.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's actually good. Yeah, every time they enter hyper mode, it takes like a huge chunk out of the shadow bar, doesn't it?
It does, but it gives Shadow Rush a 95% crit rate.
Oh. It's fine. I'd rather just do the...
Yeah, like, purify them first. Because, like, eventually you're going to get Razor Leaf on Bayleaf, and that's just going to make this experience a lot easier.
Yeah, and they get moves, too. I remember that.
The outlet goes on to emphasize the tightrope developers have to walk. While emulation itself may be legal, trying to bypass the Nintendo Switch's anti-piracy measures or circumventing copyright protection is legal minefield. So,
me when I walk into court,
to a degree,
get over it.
To a degree, I can understand Switch emulation because Switch is something that's still being actively done. Like the Switch is still, being used. Stuff with Wii emulation, GameCube emulation, DS emulation, 3DS emulation. They shut down all these servers.
I'm all for piracy on all fronts, but like from the company standpoint, no, that does make sense if they get mad over that because it's like, okay, they're actively making it.
Yeah.
But you know, like when a child downloads Super Mario 64, who cares? One, your port sucks. Two, again, who cares? It's literally what 40 years old, coming up on it. Or no, that was 96.
I need to.
I think it was
look more at the
96.
date.
But we're coming up on 30. Like,
well, no, we already passed 30 years of Mario because that's when they came out.
No,
with
I'm talking about when 64 came out.
Oh yeah.
I think that was 96.
Well, I mean,
but like, still, the point is, who cares? Like if they want to pirate, you know, Pokemon Shield, also they deserve that. That's fine. If the game sucks, they should be allowed to pirate it. That was the saddest thing in the world. I was so excited to get a Switch for the first time and like have handheld Pokemon again because I used to play Emerald all the time. All the time on my little Game Boy, and man, playing through that, I realized, wow, I don't enjoy this game.
Here's the crazy thing. I think in some regards, Pokemon Sword
situation is crazy.
Huh?
Go on.
Oh, what did you say?
I said the Pokemon situation was crazy.
We
should name every title of all this playthrough like that. Like when people do that, the blank situation. That should be every title of every Colosseum video.
I wouldn't be creative enough to come up with much, but I mean, you got the brains for it.
Are you staring? Are you locking eyes with me?
No, but I think there are some parts of Sword and Shield that honestly look and play better than Scarlet and Violet. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I think there are some parts in Scarlet and Violet to where the game looks ugly.
No, Scarlet and Violet isn't. I've just been watching. Literally, my
you go back to the mayor's room.
Okay, is the Pokemon Center in there?
No, that's the hotel that's next to that guy next to.
Yeah, because I need to revive Mikey Hutia.
Right.
That's one that I probably never said right. How are you supposed to say it?
Makuhita.
Makuhita?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever called it that in my life.
And the next one you can either say Hariyama or Hariyama.
I've always called it Hariyama, but I've always called the thing Makuta or like Makita. Let me look at it. Yeah, I've always called it Makita.
What about Rayquaza and Rayquaza?
I've always said Rayquaza.
Zebstrika or Zeebstrika?
Never cared.
Check behind the bookshelf.
Okay. If you lived in a world with no Pokemon and then this guy came up to you with Mischievous, would you just think you're dreaming or would you kill yourself?
Me when I go back in time to give the 17-16 pillager a Sprite.
Damn, just calm down.
No, but I'm definitely for the like animations, like the custom animations that all these characters have, like all these Pokemon have, because then like you get to Gen 6 to where they transition everything from 2D to 3D, and there's just a lot of Pokemon that just look boring out there. And like, yeah, you don't need every single Pokemon to be jumping around and being all excited and all that. You don't need that. I'm not asking for something like that, but
I'm asking for fully 4K custom animations for each and every single one.
Which, to be fair,
they should.
The top grossing company,
media franchise,
should be able to do that. They should be able to afford something like that.
Yeah.
They just don't want to. They saw.
But people still think it's like, what is it? It's like, oh, it's definitely Pokemon. It's not just Game Freak. Is that still a thing people push?
Because
it's both. Like people at the top, they suck, obviously, but like they're at some point, it's like, okay, it's not just that. There's also the people actively taking part that are also like.
I think a lot of people just chalk
choices.
it up to executive decision and executive people like hammering down on people to get stuff out.
That's fair. It is Japan. Who knows?
But you know, like
maybe I'm being mean to game developers.
I think the executives saw how well Pokemon Sword and Shield did because it's still the highest profit Pokemon game.
Oh,
It's still the highest selling one.
That's unfortunate.
Very.
Well, even then, I think, like it sold the most copies or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think there's not also a good standard to set for comparing, because it's also like, if they sold 1 million copies of it, like, let's say in one day, right?
Okay.
And then you compare it to, okay, well, the previous game in 1999 sold, only 100,000 copies. But it's like, what if that was like the massive, that was the number one, like, selling number at the time. Like, if you had 100K, you were top of the top. Because people have so much more accessibility to that now.
Well, yeah.
I think it's also just a bad standard to compare.
But I mean, the
like movies, the amount of money that you have to spend like $300 million to make a movie. No, you don't. That's ridiculous.
I just think that the executives use that number to show that, oh, we can just give these guys complete slop,
right?
And they'll eat it for breakfast.
I mean, that's the same.
They'll eat it happily because it's a Pokemon. It's a Pokemon game. People like Pokemon. People will buy Pokemon.
No, you could. Like, a Pokemon game could have a feature where it kicks you in the balls and takes your money and then, like, insults you on a personal deep level, and Pokemon fans will still find a way to say, well, actually, it's not that bad, and you're just being a hater.
Well, I wouldn't even put that specifically on Pokemon fans. I would just put that on Nintendo fans.
Yeah.
Like, because...
Thank God I'm a Sonic fan.
Thank God I'm in a...
Because Sonic fans is like... they will rush and be like, but your games suck. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, but then, I mean, you still got some pretty pretentious people.
Well, I think currently the worst part of all of that is, and it's not their fault, I don't think, it's...
You're getting your ass kicked.
I think something...
You need to catch this thing now.
I know, it is killing me. Okay. I think a big problem is I'm starting to see a lot of... It's really unfortunate. We really are starting to reach these kids these days age already, and we're not even that old. Also, I'm shaking that camera by bouncing my foot on my desk.
Yeah, my desk isn't all that much either.
But like, I'm seeing like, 8-year-olds with access to the internet talk about stuff like, who is this? Like, okay, I saw this for example. You know the Doing It To Him guy in the white clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've adopted that post. I recently saw someone repost it, and they were like, "Oh, the legend retook the photo." And there's so many people in the comments like, "Who is this guy? Like, what is this? Why?" I'm like, "Wow, damn." Dude, that was 2015.
Ben, I think that's just you revealing that, man, I'm getting older.
Well, that's what I said. But anyways, my point where I'm going with this is like Sonic fans right now, the Snapcube fans. People would be like, "Oh, it was a reference to that." It's like,
it was no, it's a reference from the game.
I think one of them was like, I saw this recently. People were like, in the first Sonic movie, when Eggman is like chasing Sonic through, he says that was an illegal left, by the way, and people would be like, and when people were like, you're being dumb and annoying when you say this is a Snapcube reference, they'd be like, they literally did it in the first movie. And it's like, no, that was in the movie. And then Snapcube made a reference to it. And the thing about like, oh, they were trying to genuinely argue like the whole Eggman shooting like the laser through the moon was specifically a reference for Snapcube, and him like making a live stream to the planet. It's like,
that's what
the original game.
Don't get me wrong, you and I both laughed a shit ton at Snapcube stuff.
But that's the problem. It's like, it's literally like when memes go mainstream. It's like, yeah, it was funny. It was a funny video. Like, they were funny. They were creative. It was fun to watch. They were very fun, unique projects. Shut up. Like, they don't like you either. Like, every time you say Eggman pisses on the moon, like, they kind of sink down in their seat a little bit further.
It's the same way that
it's like like the people that went to the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And they were like, the Freddy Fazbear, and people would be like, shut up. Like,
I was thinking more of the Sonic 3 scene to where, like, everything about the Sonic 3 movie was great. Except one scene, and they show it in trailers all the time, and it's annoying as hell. Konichi, what? Like,
I knew that. Konichi, what? That's
that gives me
me
the same exact feeling as people were like, oh, he pissed on the moon.
But okay, I will say this. That's gonna get to a point where I feel like I'm gonna start saying that.
What? I pissed on the moon?
No, Konichi, what?
I can see that being ironically funny.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. But people being like, oh, the pissing on its moon ran its course months, if that, after. Because like even the dude that did it, like I remember, I think it's in one of their own dubs. I think it's the Shadow one, when Shadow shoots the laser at the planet. He's like, hey guys, look, the reference. Like he's even making fun of the fans that do that.
Oni like, plays reference.
I will say I've watched. Shit, I put Oni plays to go to sleep.
That attacks both of them. That attacks. Oh,
no, I will be honest. It is a direct influence on like some of my editing style and how I like to edit certain things. But I'm glad I'm not, 16 years old anymore. Because I was definitely one of those people, the YouTubers I liked.
Oh yeah,
like I get it. Like again, I was one of those people one time, but like, I don't know. It's not. It wasn't. It's one of those things. When we were growing up, it wasn't that bad. Like it'd be like you make the joke, you make the reference, but you don't like, I don't know, you don't go out to public and expect everyone to be like, why don't you get it? Why aren't they laughing? Like people sitting in theaters being like, he's pissing on the moon. Like, shut up.
I think I agree in some regard, but I also think you're looking at it a little bit too much in like in pink tinted lens or rose tinted lens. I feel like there's definitely.
Well, the internet back then was Wild Wild West. Like it was less corporate. I don't mean Wild Wild West is fully a good thing. Like sometimes people bring up horror stories of like some of that old stuff and be like, oh my god. I don't know, it was still more fun. Like,
well, in that degree, it might be fun for like the newer generation for what they're going.
No, I think it was fun for us.
I agree it was.
Yeah, no, but nowadays if it's anything like that, it's never fun. Like, oh, this is annoying. Even people who were already old enough in that time, yeah, would have been like, oh, this, like, some of the stuff's great. Like, because, back then, a big thing, people posted a lot of stuff that was like back then, cringe compilations of like 2014 versus cringe compilations of now. I think the stuff back then was actually like cool stuff, because it'd literally just be like somebody making like a silly video in like the privacy of their own home, and it's like, yeah, why not? And then cringe now is like people in public in large spaces doing stuff
like completely crashing.
They're trying to get they're trying to hit views, and it's being like the arrogant, annoying, like shitty behavior. And then when somebody retaliates, they go, dude, what's your problem?
And you're thinking significantly more of like the Jack Doherty, or however the fuck you say his last name, Neon, like the TikTok kick streamers. Which sadly, like I hate that a lot of people are a lot of, like, some of them. I hate that a lot of influential kids are looking up to these people and being like, oh yeah, that's cool, because they're not.
Some
cool.
of them I think are funny, and like I think the guy that goes into public and was doing like the Marvel Rivals Ultimates. Like,
I don't remember that.
It's literally a guy like staying at a cafeteria and he's doing armed and dangerous. Like, I think that's funny, but like I don't remember if you were with us. We went to a mall that's relatively it's one of the only malls we have. And there was a guy who got on a table at the food court while we were eating. And he's like, attention everyone, I just got 60 subscribers on Facebook. And it was kind of funny. Because he did it one time and then got down.
Yeah.
Then he came back. He's like, attention, just an update. I now have 62 subscribers on Facebook. We're like, okay. Like it was still amusing. Then he came back a third time later. It's like, okay, now
you're starting to get
now you're
to
annoying.
Me.
Yeah, now you're being a loser. Because you're walking around with your friends who are like jerking you off, and now you're being annoying. Because if he came and did it the one time and left, like, okay, that was silly, you know, then you just drop it. But then now you're like, what is it? It's like, you know, do it once, you know.
Redundant.
No.
Do it once. Shame on
I was about
you.
to use
Do
that,
it
but that
twice.
doesn't
Shame
really
on me.
apply.
Do it 3 times.
I think
forget what the
that's
one
only
is.
a JonTron joke.
No, that's just a saying.
Yeah, but nobody does. Do it 3 times, you're officially that guy. I think that's specifically like a JonTron thing. But I mean, it is that. It's literally, do it 3 times, now you're officially that guy. Like, come on. I don't know. I'm just cool, I guess. I don't understand all these risen guyettes.
I never have.
But man, I do love silly words though, so. Oh, I saw something. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this.
And now it's your turn to start looking up stuff on the phone.
Dokkan got an update. There's going to be a lot of talking about Dokkan because me and Jerry are 10th anniversary, biggest event ever coming up soon. Very excited for that. But Dokkan got a massive update. It's basically like a new version of the game. I need to do this real quick and then I'm gonna find this video.
My name is Homer. Mark, I want a donut. Homer, that is my name. Homer, I want another. I'm running out of Lone Park. There's my go Bob, and he is going to Hill Park. No! My name is Homer.
Diego.
You have Flaffy.
Yogo.
Honestly, you get your whole team here because like there's not a lot of other Pokemon that you really have options for in this game.
Yeah, there is. You get Wish Cash.
I don't.
You do. Yes, you do.
You get Quagsire.
No, you get Quiz.
I win. He's in stunned silence because he knows that I'm right. I almost just killed the Flaffy. Why are you taking your clothes off?
Where your clothes at? My game is lagging.
Critical hit. That didn't kill it. Okay, you. Oh.
He's a little strong, little. He's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. Have you ever known someone in person who ever used wholesome or small bean unironically?
I have.
I was about to say who, but maybe you shouldn't say.
Well, I don't know how they've been. I haven't talked to them in a year or two, but
Did you want to kill them?
Oh.
Why?
I had no urge to. They weren't doing anything harmful.
They were. They were saying wholesome and small bean. It's evil. That's evil incarnate. That's literally in Proverbs. God, thou shalt design human beings to act upon rage.
What?
If the neighbor said any one of these lines, and then it had wholesome, it had small bean, it had puppers, and it had hashtag relatable. You ever heard anybody speak any of those things? Like the only option is just like.
I will say I've never heard anybody say hashtag relatable in person.
That's how you make a game good. You need your characters to be, and a movie good. You need your characters to be relatable. And sad and struggling and going through really
I like the
mundane.
idea of having like a source or like a sense of growth. I don't think that's anything that's changed.
No, I mean like where
But-
everybody has to, like Life is Strange. Everybody has to be relatable. Everything has to suck. Like it's like when you can't just have villains anymore. Like I think we talked about Disney remakes. Like every Disney remake has to be like, oh, the villain has to be redeemable or like understandable.
Right.
It's like, or we could just have shitheads. Because didn't that happen? You said you watched Mufasa. Isn't like Scar like, oh, actually it makes sense because he was denied the throne by Mufasa, who's actually the evil white man or something.
Oh. I did say that, I mean, because I I watched Mufasa with my sister. She wanted to go watch it, and I was like, well, I'm not the biggest fan of like live action Disney films, but why
Your
not?
sister crawled into your room and said, "You are my brother. You want to go watch this, brother?"
No, but I mean, like, the reason that Scar turns on Mufasa and all this shit is because um I've tried to block that video or that movie out of my mind.
You're my brother.
So Espeon, you fell asleep.
You are my brother. I do love that it's that the original Lion King, because Disney is definitely good people. They remarketed it as a black film. And then when they made the sequel, they hired like the most British actors in the world.
Yeah. Well,
which is more uniform to the original Disney's Lion King, because it's, what is it, Hamilton or whatever, the whitest thing in the universe.
Hamilton.
The
musical, yeah.
Like, yeah,
I mean,
not like the actual Lion King play, but Disney's Lion King was based off of what is it Hamlet? What's it called? One of those Shakespeare's.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's based off a Shakespeare play, so it's the most British thing in the world.
Was No, it wasn't. It was some like Edgar Allan Poe poem.
Hold on, let me look this up.
No, but the scene in Mufasa is like they're being chased by this other lion tribe that's trying to get rid of the king. And also I was trying to fuck with you saying Edgar Allan Poe.
Also, they note Kimba the White Lion.
Eventually, they get to a point to where they're catching up to him, and the female lion is like, "I got an idea. I need you guys to distract them." And she like swipes down this beehive that causes this elephant stampede to happen, and Mufasa saves the girl lion. But Scar is like, "Oh, I really like this chick. I think she's really cool, or like I want to get to know her." So
is it
after
Sarabi?
Huh?
Oh, never mind. Go on.
But after it, the elephants are all gone, and she's like, "You saved me." I was like, "No, that was actually Scar doing that. Scar saved you." And eventually they get to like this snow peak, and the two male and female lions, Mufasa and the girl, like they start doing a duet, and like Scar comes in and he's like, he told her that I did it, and now she's all over him now. So now I'm gonna go to the opposite team for this one time because he did this one thing, and I'm gonna tell on them. I'm gonna tell where they are, and I'm gonna try to take the throne from them because they're gonna have me be an honorary if I join them and all this stuff. It just.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm already lost.
Yeah, I am.
It couldn't just be they were brothers at birth, and that Scar was always a dick.
No. What happens is Mufasa gets separated from his family at the very beginning of the movie, because apparently they were in an area to where there was
also play while you're.
Oh yeah. Sorry. No, but they're in an area to where there's this huge drought, and it finally rains. Like it just rains. It rains. That's it. And it's like, oh, we're playing around in the rain. It suddenly becomes this whole flood, and Mufasa gets washed out into the ocean.
I think there's a movie that starts exactly like that.
Tarzan?
No.
Well,
it's specifically an animal movie where like, oh, we're all happy, and then there's a storm and they get.
Well, no, they weren't happy because they were in a drought.
Well,
and they were trying to be like, oh, we're trying to take you to tomorrow, which that was the family, or the Groot family, Grooks. The one like caveman movie to where it's like, I'm hungry. Wait a minute!
Oh no!
Wait a minute!
That's the Croods.
That's the Croods.
You were like the Groot family. I was like that. No, that's not a thing. I'm hungry.
Well, what animal movie are you thinking of?
I don't remember. I just know like the way you're describing it's like I've seen this before, to a T. But yeah, anyways, he gets separated and then Scar like pulls him out of the lake, and he's like,
yeah, Scar pulls him out and it's like,
he's like, Mom, can we keep him? She's like, no.
She's like, no, you can't. And then she's like, you know what your dad's gonna think? And the dad's like, I don't need an outsider here.
I don't want a black lion. What? Come on, you don't know.
The music has never sounded louder after saying that.
That's what Disney thinks anyway.
I don't know. I haven't been a fan of
Anything.
Disney live action films. They showed off like Snow White, and the dwarves look like characters from the Polar Express. Oh, you don't like the Polar Express?
No, I pulled my hair. No, the Polar Express looks like Toy Story 1. That's why I like it. It's super scary looking. I don't know if it's necessarily a super entertaining film, but like it's definitely funny to look at. I do like that some Pokemon exist though that like if I was to like just get near him, I'd start melting. He's like 4,000 degrees.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, the Pokédex says that Raichu has enough electricity to paralyze a African elephant, which is weird because they specifically said African elephant.
No, that's what I was talking about. Like, it was always like a sciencey thing. That's like all these monsters just kind of exist in our world. Because like back then, there was always like implications of like real fish and dogs.
Yeah.
Like they just like were mixed in with real animals. Like, oh, living in the world of Pokemon. Hell.
I think there would be a lot of. I think it's two sides of a coin. I feel like we would have a lot more.
Oh no!
What?
I just thought about something. Wait a minute. Dan.
Not recording.
No, we are.
Were we not recording the game?
I don't think so. Because this was on top.
Pause it and check the recording. Because if it.
I don't think I can pause. I just have to stop it.
Just stop it.